Let me talk about Doge for a minute because this has been one of my top picks now for about 2 years. And I remember after the last cycle seeing Doge at about 7-8 cents. And I had this realization. Doge is going to $1. And it's one of the best plays because when you buy Doge, you're waiting for it to go to $1. And when it gets to $1, you can sell it because it's just Doge. It's a joke meme coin. So I had this idea that Doge was going to go over 10x and hit $1 and probably outperform some of the majors like Bitcoin and ETH. It does that every time, but the period of time that you can sell at that huge gain is about a week. So what I'm looking for is when the news and all the mainstream news outlets are saying Doge is the best performing asset on the planet. It's over $1, it's outperformed everything, and that's the day you want to sell. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the User Extractable Value Podcast. Today's UEV is going to be very exciting. I can't wait because we're talking about meme coins today, and some of these meme coins have been going crazy. So let's dive into it, guys. I'm excited for this market. It's been keeping me going every day, especially that Dogecoin. I know we're going to talk about Doge today. We're going to talk about Mr. Miggles. We're going to talk about PEPE. We're going to talk about DEGEN. We're going to talk about government Doge. So let's dive in. I know we're going to first talk about Doge, which is one of my biggest holdings. And we like the dog.
Yeah, we do like the dog. So we've got, this is our big multi-screener dashboard right here. You guys can see we have on the left half of your screen, you're looking at, the big four that we watch, which is Bitcoin on the top left, followed by ETH. On the bottom, we have Solana, and then we have Doge, the normal Doge. We have to clarify now. On the right side, we kind of have some of our big four, which is Aerodrome on Base, the central liquidity hub of Base. We have Mr. Miggles. If you don't know, then you're behind. BSWAP, a young potential hidden gem micro cap. And then we have the new Doge, which we've only been following for about a week now. And this thing is absolutely mooned. We've barely gotten an entrance off. It's very interesting. I know we're going to dig into that later. But if you guys don't know, we're using Deck Screener, which is a free application that, just lets you look at a lot of different things. We're also on the right side using CoinGecko. You can take a look at the live AB portfolio. We actually, with Mr. Miggles nonstop on the rise, has just become our largest position, which is interesting. I mean, the trader in me wants to sell some, but the Miggles Maxi in me realizes that this thing is still very undervalued. So
yeah. I would call you the Michael Saylor of Miggles. So
yeah, Miggles is at the top right now, and I'm actually about to mortgage my house and buy more. So there's a lot of exciting things going on. I mean, we could talk about any one of these projects. We could also talk about, on the other hand, if we wanted to go back to some macro charts, we have Bitcoin. Obviously, that's in all-time highs territory. And then we are watching the ETH BTC as always, which is one of the biggest charts that you should be looking at. Shouts out to Charting Man Dan from the Charts Guys, who's been watching this with us for about 10 years now. So yeah, I'll pass it to anyone who wants to talk about anything on this screen. We're piloting a rocket ship in here.
Well, I just can't believe this Miggles chart. I've been following it for the entire week, but week plus. But look at this chart. That's insane.
It broke the chart.
One thing we learned in previous cycles is not to sell too early. I think sometimes you see these big gains and it can be really tempting. Like, oh, I just made a lot of money. Let's sell. And I certainly have sold too early in the past. And then you're just playing catch up and you're just watching the chart go up and you're wishing you still had a bag. So I think taking profits is good. Definitely partial profits along the way. But there's an art to not selling too early, I would say. It's really hard to do. But if you hang on for the long term and sell at the right time, that's how you're going to make the most gains. Sell as much as you can at the top, but do it in chunks. So, yeah, why don't we just dive in?
I think it's important to add here that everyone's feeling pretty euphoric over the past.
Migglish, I think, is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, Migglish over the past week, but it's only been a week. This kind of bull trend could go on for like 3 months before like a major pullback. Obviously, Bitcoin's at all-time highs, but like Dill said, it's going to get stupid. Dogecoin was at $35 billion, which already seems kind of absurd, and it added like another 10 or $15 billion in the span of like 24 hours. I hate to say it, but I think fully diluted value is a meme again, and you gotta follow the memes that are hot.
Let me talk about Doge for a minute, because this has been one of my top picks now for about 2 years. And I remember after the last cycle seeing Doge at about 7-8 cents, and I had this realization: Doge is going to $1, and it's one of the best plays, because when you buy Doge, you're waiting for it to go to $1, and when it gets to $1, you can sell it because it's just Doge. It's a joke meme coin. So I had this idea that Doge was going to go over 10x and hit $1 and probably outperform some of the majors like Bitcoin and ETH. It does that every time, but the period of time that you can sell at that huge gain is about a week. So what I'm looking for is when the news and all the mainstream news outlets are saying Doge is the best performing asset on the planet, it's over $1, it's outperformed everything, and that's the day you want to sell. So I'm bullish on Doge, and the question is, Doge is pumping. You've already missed some of the pump. What can you look for next? I want to tell you guys about DogeChain. DogeChain is an EVM compatible Doge L2. So it's built on top of Doge, and it works in MetaMask. And I think a lot of people don't know about this. Doge actually has an L2, and it's active, and there's some big tokens on it. So what you're looking at here is a post that I made about OMNOM, the biggest meme coin built on the biggest meme coin. Doge is the #1 meme coin, and the #1 biggest meme coin built on Doge L2 is called OMNOM. So it's worth checking out. I would call it a Doge beta play, because as Doge pumps, it's going to get a lot of attention on the Doge L2. And I think a lot of people don't even know this exists. So check out OMNOM. I know it's got a funny GIF here. That's because it's called Doge Eat Doge. So OMNOM is a joke about basically you put your Doge in and it's eating your Doge and going into OMNOM. So this is OMNOM.
Yeah, fair disclaimer. Dill here has got 99.9% of his entire family's net worth in Doge, and every Doge that you buy will go towards feeding his grandchildren.
Yeah, right. I do have a big bag of Doge, and I got about half of my Doge holdings into OMNOM and DogeChain. So also check out DogeChain, which is the currency of the Doge L2. It's called DC. That's obviously the creator and sort of the main token of the Doge L2. But it's interesting that OMNOM, as a meme coin on DogeChain, has actually surpassed the value of DogeChain itself. So I'm watching out for those two. Not really touching anything else on DogeChain, but I think it could get huge, especially when we pass over $1 and people go, okay, what's next for Doge?
Meme coins.
I got a real, an actual fundamental question on DogeChain while we're still on it. Outside of OMNOM, like, is there any goal that the DogeChain has? Anything differentiated? I mean, obviously they're focused on memes, but like, what is the fundamental kind of thesis behind the DogeChain?
I would say the fundamental thesis is that it's an L2 that's based on Doge. So many L2s are based on Ethereum or Solana. And so the thesis here is that they're making an L2 based on Doge. It has low fees, low transaction time, and the only way to deposit money into DogeChain is by sending actual Doge. So the way that it works is you send Doge and you receive Doge on DogeChain, which works in MetaMask. It's EVM compatible. It's easy to use. So I think it's really interesting, and it helps to lock up more Doge. So it also supports the price of Doge itself. And if Doge goes up, DogeChain will go up too.
This is definitely the financial market for comedians and people who recognize humor and what's going to be popular.
Yep, it's just the way I like to invest and control my portfolio. So no financial advice.
I heard a great reason why Doge is so successful is because it's a lazy person meme. You buy Doge on a centralized exchange. You don't do much with it. You don't have to be on chain. And for all kind of the fringe people that move the prices in a time period like this, it makes a lot of sense that one is the one to rip. So
yeah. Yep, it's mid-curve season, I guess. We got Doge.gov here, taking a little, this is like the evolution of Doge, right? This is a very, very interesting find. I think right before I left to go watch the Indiana Hoosiers play Michigan and beat them 10-0, I think I sent our AB owner chat a little bit of alpha, which was letting them know that I think I might have found Elon Musk's burner website, which is DOGE.GOV.com. 7 days later, we get an announcement from Big T, not yet in the White House, but formally declaring that the Doge Department of Government Efficiency is legit and that Vivek and Elon are going to run it, and pretty much everything on this website, which is tied directly to a coin that we've gotten our clients a small bit of exposure to, still doing due diligence on, but everything that Elon is mentioning is kind of on this website. I mean, they've got how many meme coins that exist have a functional U.S. government spend and debt tracker, deficit tracker, agent ID generation mechanism. This is like a very well made site. I mean, I think, look, we're theorizing that Elon is behind this. Maybe, maybe not. There's still a lot more diligence to do, but it's definitely very interesting. The coin has been going ballistic. What do you guys think about this?
Let's show the chart for a minute so that we can see what the coin's doing. Because it's actually looks like, very interestingly, in just a week or two, it's actually past the price of Doge, which is pretty crazy.
But not the market cap, which is, so it's a little different. But the department, this really stems back from Elon wanting to bring the government into a state of efficiency. He recognized that the government has been working truly inefficiently forever, and it's probably the most inefficient entity in the entire world when you think of private sector versus government versus, nonprofit. And so Elon's expressed a ton of interest in actually improving efficiency within the government. So he proposed this idea because he's always been a Doge fan. He wanted to keep it on brand, and he recommended that they call it Department of Government Efficiency. And now that so they created this coin, and now that it's been announced, it's been running for a pretty decent, probably few weeks, maybe to a month. I think it
it's got some history all the way back to September.
Yeah.
Quick question for the simple man. You mentioned the difference between price and market cap. What is the difference between price and market cap? Can anyone tell me?
Yeah, well, I think the reason I brought it up is because I'm thinking in terms of someone who's been holding Doge for a long time. And then you see this government Doge come out, and it runs up to an even higher price than Doge. Of course, the market cap isn't the same, but the fact that you could have caught this in the beginning and wrote it up, and then it went even higher than Doge just yesterday. But of course, the market cap is a bit lower. It's not as big of a token overall. Clearly, the supply is a lot lower than Doge itself, which is why the price was able to go higher, but the market cap is much lower. So something to look out for, an upcoming play. And I do think it'll keep going. This is really interesting with the potential connection to Elon and Trump.
We are in the trenches.
Okay, guys, I think we have to do it. We're all excited. Mr. Miggles, let's just jump over to the Mr. Miggles chart right now, because the Mr. Miggles chart needs to be discussed. This thing is absolutely ripping. It's one of our biggest bets. And if you look at the price right now, we're about to hit 10 cents. So
look at that's pretty funny. Look at this from a few days ago.
We started recording, which is pretty exciting. Insane. And there's also Dark Miggles has entered the chat, but the people aren't ready for Dark Miggles yet. So
yeah, I mean, look at this chart.
So we had an average entrance at around, I guess I should know the market cap. The price is probably around 2 cents, which is, for all the devs watching this, they're laughing at that. But to all the normies in a couple months,
you got it about
maybe impressive.
20 million market cap.
Yeah. And I mean, I think this thing still has room to run. Beckman was saying to me, people are still asking us if they should buy Miggles. Of course, we don't give investment advice, We just talk about education, but I mean, honestly, looking at an $80 million market cap, I would still buy this coin. Like, it's still incredibly, in my opinion, undervalued with all of the sponsorships and attachments to Coinbase that it has, with Per Labs and everything that they're developing in their pipeline, really bringing IP, an elite business team bringing the IP use case, front and center. It's impressive. I mean, they talked about on some of their founders' calls in the whale chat about plushie toys doing billions in revenues. Like what's that plushie, the little Squishmallows?
These Squishmallows.
Yeah, the Squishmallows did like 4 billion. I don't even know.
And
big numbers.
I think Monty, if this is you sharing your screen, you just pulled up some elite alpha that we discovered last night. So we're all down in Austin, which is why I'm not at my usual desk. I'm with Mark here in Austin. The whole team's in Austin for the first time, I think this year. And we were at dinner last night, getting some drinks after, when somebody discovered that Coinbase shop only has one Memecoins, whatever you call it, swag merch that they're selling, and it's Mr. Miggles. And another piece of alpha is they previously in their X bio, the Mr. Miggles official X bio, said Coinbase is not affiliated with Mr. Miggles. That has been taken out.
Does it really?
Yes. I believe a day or two ago it was taken out. Somebody noticed. There's alpha. It's so...
We're just speculating.
Yeah, listen.
This is all probably nothing.
I
hate making money.
I'm a Miggles maxi. I love Miggles.
Yeah,
Last night, I after dinner, I went to bed, literally staring at my ceiling, figuring out how I can sell every possession I have to buy more Miggles.
He's been Miggle-pilled.
Well, Mr. Miggles is looking great.
Speaking of Coinbase, I mean, I think we can just talk about.
That's going to be a fire clip.
They're listing every meme right now. I think this is one of the very tangible benefits of a new administration, is that they're not afraid to get sued. And I mean, we can talk about PEPE or WIF. These are the biggest memes that are worth billions of dollars, going up 50% in one day on a Coinbase listing, Robinhood listing. That gives Mr. Miggles and other memes more room to run as well. A rising tide lifts all boats.
Pepe, pump it up,
Yeah.
pump up the
And
Pepe. You guys know the song?
A little last bit of alpha on Miggles. Been listening to their founders a lot every time they speak, trying to process whatever they're saying. They're in direct communication with Elon's meme guy, and they've been working with, I believe it seems like the kind of Elon cult, the Doge cult, and the Miggles cult are all forming together what they're calling the meme world order. And, essentially they're one call away from Elon. They said their goal is to try to get Elon to say Migglish. And I think when that happens, Mr. Miggles, Miggle pills, mass consciousness, and, forget jet skis. I guess we're going to have real boats by then.
Advantage boat chain.
Advantage boat chain. After Advantage Miggle chain.
Yeah, so jumping over to Pepe, it was just listed on Coinbase and Robinhood yesterday. I've been in Pepe for a long time, and it was amazing to see. I watched the market cap go from 6 billion to 8 billion in a few minutes, and by the end of the night, it had hit over 10 billion market cap. That's adding 4 billion in market cap in just a day, and it looks like it's holding up really well. So Pepe's another one of those plays where I think it's going to go higher. It's going to continue to grow with the market. It's actually becoming a large cap now. Last I checked, it's almost in the top 10. So it's something to look out for. And it's pretty incredible that we live in an environment where a token that was started last summer can actually grow and reach the top 20, top 10 within just a year, just by being a meme token. Pepe doesn't do anything other than represent a green frog. So I'm bullish on it. We like the frog, and let's keep going with Pepe.
Didn't Robinhood list it as well yesterday?
They did.
Yeah. I think that did happen. And depending on how deep you are into conspiracy land, Pepe may or may not do some other things. But we'll leave that for the shadows. We'll leave that for the Dark Miggles podcast.
You're making me nervous.
Wrapping up our meme kind of conversation. I mean, the name speaks for itself. DEGEN. I mean, Dill, do you want to touch upon their movements here?
Yeah, let's talk about DEGEN. DEGEN is one of the largest meme coins on Base. I've been bullish on DEGEN for a long time. I'm building within their ecosystem with the DEGEN L2. And the name speaks for itself. It's called DEGEN. When you see the name of this token, you immediately think meme coin. But compared to other meme coins out there, they have so much going on the tech side and on the development side. And what you see here is an initial roadmap from the DEGEN founder, Jacek. So what he's talking about here are what's coming for DEGEN. They're working on an omni-chain strategy so that you'll be able to buy, sell, trade with DEGEN on multiple different blockchains. I know they're still working on their L2 or their L3 solution, which is very cool. I'm a big part of that. I have some investments in DEGEN itself and also in their L3 ecosystem. So this is just something to look out for. It's going to remain one of the biggest meme coins on Base, in my opinion. And tipping is still going on over on Warpcast if you've kept up with that. People can actually earn DEGEN every day just by being active on Warpcast and staking your tokens to earn an allowance. So it's something that I've been farming for a long time. In my opinion, it's one of the best airdrops to farm, if you can even call it an airdrop. But in terms of farming crypto and stuff where you take daily actions to earn money, DEGEN's been one of the greatest for me. So I'm bullish on DEGEN. It's seen some massive growth. I think it's up about 3x in the last couple of weeks. It is listed on Coinbase as well, which is a huge value add. So people who are just signing on to Coinbase are seeing this coin. They probably just see the ticker DEGEN. They think it's funny and they buy some, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
Well, it's kind of the unofficial coin token of Warpcast and Farcaster, to be more specific, to even grow it out a little bit. And what's really cool about it, you mentioned the farming aspect, Dylan, but people can get tipped and get rewarded by other users on Farcaster for providing value. That value can be providing education, which we do constantly on Warpcast through our channels like UEV, but also posting a funny meme. Someone could say that and say, that's awesome. Here's some DEGEN. You could even mint a meme on chain using Warpcast, and someone else can actually go and then mint your meme, earning you additional money as well. There's a lot of ways to use Warpcast and Farcaster to get additional holdings to farm, as Dylan put it, but adding value there could be really profitable, and it's something that we've done.
I think there'll also be a Farcaster airdrop at some point, and so Warpcast being active there is a great way to qualify yourself.
What makes you say that, Monty?
The little elves.
They whispered in your ear last night?
Yeah. I think Farcaster is an awesome application. I think it's really, it's revolutionary the way that you can get paid for making content. I'm pretty sure they've got a founders channel. They've got a flounders channel. One time, Beckman posted a picture of a flounder, and I paid him $10 for it because it was a really good picture of a fish, and other people can do that. It's a great place to have fun, spread ideas, and get paid for creating content. I mean, it's like you're tweeting, but you're getting paid for it, maybe.
Yeah,
if you're good.
If you're good. A lot of people are good at Twitter.
Get paid for being funny and valuable.
Right. I'm very bullish on DEGEN. So that's a lot of different meme coins to look out for. I think we're going to talk a little bit next about the Bitcoin all-time high and the future outlook for Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Bitwise.
Yeah, they're great. They actually just acquired Ethereum staking service yesterday, and they announced it.
Yes.
Bitwise Onchain Solutions. And so if you connect the dots there, you think they're going to be pretty efficient by managing their own staking within their Ethereum ETFs once that gets approved.
Yes, and real quick on Bitwise, if you happen to be considering any of the ETFs, please go to Bitwise and not anyone else. They are the most crypto native, the most on-chain. They really get it. And from what I've heard, they're incredibly nice guys. So wanted to shout them out and thank them for the work that they're doing.
Yeah, great intel. When are they acquiring us? Because we're not selling, so don't even ask Bitwise. Just kidding, unless you're paying in Miggles.
Yeah, so this article just touches upon, I mean, this is classic bull market stuff. The target was 100K, now it's 500K. Please keep that in mind. But it just makes a case that in the grand scheme of things, we're still early. Bitcoin's 15 years old. 100K seems expensive now, but if Bitcoin hits the price of gold, parity with the price of gold, it would be 500 or more. So that's just really, that's the next comp we've talked about before, whether it was the whole crypto market cap or just Bitcoin, but we're coming for you, gold. Watch out.
So when comparing gold to Bitcoin, one thing is obviously Bitcoin was considered to be digital gold, but the way I think about it is actually a little bit different, because while it has a lot of the same properties as gold, finite, store value, it is something that is more valuable and has more use case. You can actually spend it. I think gold is technically more of a store of value, and I think the lack of liquidity actually benefits it in that way. But Bitcoin is incredibly finite, has a lot of the same principles, just so happens to be able to use it as micropayments, global payments, and other things that make it just a completely new asset. I think personally it could be more valuable than gold, but interested in everyone else's thoughts as well.
I think the top... Yeah, go ahead, Dill.
I do think Bitcoin is more useful than gold in its own way. A lot of people have a hard time understanding how an intangible asset can be valuable. That's something that I still hear from people who know about crypto and have heard about crypto for a long time. And I think it's interesting. It's like someone saying email has no value because it's not tangible mail. I think people are going to realize that over time, that Bitcoin is just as much money as the dollar signs in your bank account when you go on online banking. And it's taking people a long time to wake up for that. Some people will never understand it, right? There's people who don't understand stocks and they go, I don't get it. So there will always be people who don't understand it. But this is crazy. If Bitcoin hits 500K or $1 million per coin, I do think there's a chance of a hyper Bitcoinization scenario where Bitcoin just runs away from the entire market, becomes a reserve currency, treasury holdings, stuff like that.
It's already becoming a reserve currency for publicly traded companies. And I think soon, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the primary reserve currency of many governments. I mean, we're already seeing governments buying Bitcoin and using it on their balance sheet and their reserves, but it will become the primary reserve currency.
Great transition there, Beckman. So this is a piece from founding partner Matt Huang at PEPE. And it just makes the case that, and this, I've never seen this comparison before, that there's certain technologies that you can adopt and there's certain technologies you're forced to adopt. The example he gives here is Christopher Nolan doesn't have an iPhone and he can survive without an iPhone. But when gunpowder was invented, you have to adopt gunpowder. You get killed on the battlefield. You get murked. And so he equates the technology of Bitcoin more like gunpowder than the iPhone, where you're being forced to from a financial necessity point, which I thought was a really interesting comparison.
Yeah, unless you have a dragon.
Is it a national security emergency that the U.S. is not acquiring Bitcoin today?
Well, the CIA invented it, so I think they have Satoshi stash back there.
Yeah, that's an interesting. That'd be an interesting special piece, as a deep dive on the CIA and their hands in Bitcoin creation.
You should write it.
Yeah, I've been hanging out with Dark Miggles too much. What's next on the list? Hadron Collider.
Yeah, this is just an announcement from Tether. Tether is, we're a big fan of that company, one of the best companies in the world, in our opinion. And they launched a new tokenization platform. They are really the best with on-the-ground delivery of real-world assets, in this case USDT, and they're going to help other people expand that market.
This has been on my radar for a while. They have obviously created the most successful stablecoin to date with the largest holdings and balance sheet. They also have created other products like Tether Gold, which is gold backed, or really a token backed by Tether. And they have created the framework to tokenize assets of all different sizes and scale, which is very exciting. Obviously, it's been talked about for years as one of the biggest use cases, or one of the biggest potential use cases of blockchain. Just adding efficiencies, adding settlement features, adding distribution features in an automated way to these assets. And Tether has to be one of the best to do it, especially outside of the US, which I'm less familiar with the international market when it comes to tokenization, but every big platform that I've seen has mostly been US focused.
I got a question for the crowd. Tether or USDC?
For what we do, USDC, I like Tether. I always ignore the FUD. I think that they have been a great company.
Tether's been constantly under attack for a long time. People saying it's not backed, it's not liquid. I think time and time again, they've proven that that is not true, and it is backed. And when they issue billions of dollars in Tether, it's because they have billions of dollars of interest in people buying crypto and people that are actually putting real capital behind this. So I don't believe the FUD either. Tether is one of the best stable coins. And this is really interesting because at its essence, creating Tether is a form of tokenization of the dollar. So them getting into tokenization just makes sense. And I'm sure they'll bring a lot more real world assets onto the chain. So bullish on that. Love what Tether's doing. And next up, we're going to talk about the Franklin Templeton Fund, right? We already talked about Bitcoin becoming the treasury asset. Oh, we have another one here on the treasury asset. Let's talk about that.
Just touch upon this real quick. There's another firm. It seems like almost every week are doing this. If any CEOs of public companies are listening to this, please move on. You're not Michael Saylor. Your bag is not big enough. You will be the fucking 10th Bitcoin minnow. Buy Ethereum, buy Solana, buy Chainlink. Be original. Don't copy everyone else.
Well, you say that, and it's true, and there is more alpha with what you said, Monty, but shares spike 50%.
Wow.
Pretty good. If you're a CEO, do something with crypto. Bitcoin may not be the best solution, but it is a solution.
Yeah, as long as we're not .comming right now. I think we still have some room to go, room to grow.
Room to go, room to grow.
Room to go, room to grow.
So we have next up talking about the Franklin Templeton money market fund. What's going on over here with Ethereum?
Yeah, I mean, just expanding Franklin Templeton's U.S. government money market funds that's on chain.
Can we zoom out even more? What is a money market fund?
Sure. Money market fund is essentially a fund for, in this case, it's for institutional accredited investors. It allows them to invest into money markets, which are very liquid, very small growth, like essentially treasuries, to have growth. It's mostly for wealth protection as opposed to wealth growth. But what this does, and actually I had a really interesting conversation about this with someone who was interested in the fund, where our strategy is very heavily built upon rebalancing as we get to the top of the market, or where we believe to be the top of the market. Every time we have gotten towards the top of the market, we've done a good job of selling, but there hasn't been a lot of on-chain activity or on-chain options for us to yield in a cash position. There are stables which allow you to provide liquidity, like liquidity pooling, and there's ways to earn yield on stable coins like USDC and USDT. But what Franklin Templeton did, they were one of the first to actually put a small growth fund that is very safe, very liquid, and allow people to access it on chain. This is going to be incredibly useful for when we have a cash position sitting and we want a liquid on-chain growth funds that we can put our money into that's safer and non-correlated to the actual crypto market itself.
Which I think we're starting to prototype with AB yield, right?
We're making some money.
I love it. Okay, very interesting.
So,
But real quick, also just want to add, this was on Base, Aptos, and something else before, and Avalanche. Shout out to Avalanche, Blizzard Fund. But now it's going on to the King, Ethereum, which is good. It just it enables access. Going back to Doge.GOV, we've been so heavy on Base, and we've been so interested on these Base meme coins. The other day when Mark put in Doge.GOV, immediately my head went to it's on Base. So I'm looking for it on Base and I couldn't find it. Meanwhile, it's on Ethereum. This is a really good use case, and it's copying what cryptos have done for a long time, specifically in the EVM world, of let's go to as many chains as possible because we want the users of each chain to have access to our on-chain fund. It's truly the great improvement of distribution from crypto into traditional finance, which I think we've all been waiting for, and can definitely improve the strategies of crypto funds, companies with crypto balance sheets. It is very, very exciting.
Yeah, very well said. And I think just for linguistics, when Alex says on Ethereum, right, Base is on Ethereum too, but I think we're talking about mainnet, right? When people talk about, okay, is something on Ethereum, well, a lot of times, if it's an L2, then it's on whatever that other layer is, right? That could be on Base or Optimism or whatever have you. But on mainnet Ethereum is mainnet Ethereum. That's where the fees are the highest, but it is, the most native and protected layer that exists. It's the layer 0. So well said though.
awesome.
That's really exciting.
So next up, we're going to talk about something important and personal to us in the history of Advantage Blockchain, and that is Pennsylvania. Advantage Blockchain was originally founded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Go Birds.
This is personally important to us. And on top of that, we have just came out with an interview with some of the representatives who are involved in creating these bills. So let's talk about what's going on here with the Pennsylvania bill.
Yeah, big shots to our research team and our president, and shouts out to I think Mike Cable and it was Dominic.
Yeah, Mike Cabell and Dominic Foligno. Yes.
Cabell.
So also shout out to the Satoshi Action Fund run by Dennis Porter, I believe his name is. And I want to confirm that, but they have done an incredible job. They've created good relationships with Pennsylvania and some other key states, and they have been just looking to pass Bitcoin legislation and crypto legislation to give people rights to self-custody, to give miners the ability to mine without government interference. And they have taken a liking to Pennsylvania. It's funny, we did this interview, and that interview was about the Bitcoin rights bill. And this is totally different. They didn't even talk about this, really. We asked them what was next, which was funny, but they didn't even talk about this. I wonder if they were keeping it under wraps until it was announced. But they just introduced a bill to use $7 billion of state funds for a Bitcoin strategic reserve. That's incredible, and that is good for Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Go Birds.
Dominic and Cabell are on fire. These guys are making big changes.
I mean, that's the power of Advantage Blockchain here. You'll see it soon, but Mike said that this was the first bill was just to get a foot in the door, and now he's kicking the door wide open. So impressive to see.
Yeah, it's amazing to see his name there, and we just had him on our podcast, so check that out. And I don't want to get too into this, but I just saw something come across that says 18 states are going to be suing the SEC based on their overregulation of crypto. So we don't have that article up now, but I did just see it come through. So a lot is happening between the states getting into crypto and making some strategic moves here.
Yes, and it's to no surprise because this election saw 270 plus new elected officials backed by crypto packs.
Money
Yeah, something about efficiency in the government is going on. A new department.
I
We're
think
looking into it.
just to wrap this up, some states have a lot of money, some states don't have that much money. A lot of people talk about the federal government. Federal government's generally slower than states. And not to say that it's pretty obvious that the US will buy Bitcoin at some point, but if you have the chance to front run 80-90% of institutional capital and the US government for a multi-year period and you don't take advantage of it,
I got a question. What's the poorest state and what's the richest state?
I'm pretty sure Alabama and Mississippi are the poorest states, but it fluctuates with the deficit depending. Like California's tax is a lot of it's based on the technology industry. So on good years with like stock-based comp, they get a lot of taxes, but on bad years they don't get that much. Where like Texas is more oil-based. So
Interesting.
Yeah, but there's just something to watch. Game theory is playing out. It's great.
Awesome. Great to see it. A lot of states going to be getting involved in Bitcoin. It's the beginning. And I think most people don't even realize that our president-elect has made millions and millions of dollars in crypto and stuff like the government Doge agency. I mean, this is a calculated move. They know exactly what they're doing. I've seen so many people post about this stuff and they don't even realize how connected it is to crypto. So anyway, here we have something about exploring the future of AI agents in crypto. Let's talk about that. And then I know we're going to talk about another AB article as well.
Yeah, so on-chain agents have kind of been the soup du jour over the past 2 or 3 weeks. You have Luna,
Bless you.
you have Truth Terminal. Virtual is the platform that launches it. And Binance released a report about how they're built, the difference between bots and AI agents. And this is really where the future is going. It'll be interesting to see at what point is there more agents on chain than humans and users. Well, I mean, I guess agents are users, but crypto's for everyone, including agents. And hopefully that means price goes up because the economic utility increases a lot over the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, we talked about Virtual's protocol last week, and I was surprised to notice that's actually one of the top biggest coins on Base. We all realized that this week. So that's pretty impressive to see some of these AI plays emerge as the biggest tokens in the ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, I'm following these close dev circles with, we joke about Miggles, but I mean, all jokes aside, it's like, we found them from following the closest core dev circles really in the blockchain industry. And, that led to, of course, Ethereum, led to Optimism, led to Base, led to Miggles, and, then led to Virtuals and a lot of other projects. But this is very interesting. I haven't even fully deep dived into this. I mean, for me to consider something a deep dive, I've got to spend like probably at least 10 plus hours on it, right? So I've scanned the surface of this subject, but I mean, this is just, there's so much that can come out of this. It's kind of insane. One of our other AB researchers, L2 Explorer on Warpcast, he's been doing some very interesting stuff, building out some of these AI agents and coding with Solidity. Very interesting to see where this goes. I think this is where we get to the edge of the internet, and like even we are confused. And it's just, this is mind-boggling stuff.
Awesome. So let's move on to one of the most important topics today. It's the risk of not owning crypto. If you're an investor or you have an investment portfolio, there's actually more risk in not holding crypto than there is in holding a percentage of your portfolio in crypto. So this is a great write-up by Monty here. Monty, why don't you walk us through some of the thinking here and the logic behind the risk of not owning crypto? Yeah,
everyone understands the risk of crypto. I think over the past few years, there's been a lot of media coverage of everything that went bad. It is a new technology. The genie's out of the bottle. And not having exposure to it could be very detrimental to any investment portfolio. The goal of this piece is really to answer 3 questions for let's say, a crypto curious individual. Is it actually real technology? What are the real use cases? And how to think about assets to buy. That's really what we focus on. To sum it up, crypto should be dummy insurance for every portfolio. It reduces correlation. It increases returns. Every study just shows that there's very little downside to adding it to your portfolio if you can handle the volatility. Some people can't, but we encourage you to read this article.
Yeah, I think, Monty, your parents said you were crypto curious, right? That's why they sent you to camp. This was a great piece, though. Very, very well written. And I think, Whitetail.eth, he's one of the best authors, if not the best author in our whole community. And he's really staying on top of some very interesting points. Definitely give this a read. It's actually entertaining. I don't even like to read, but I'll read his stuff, and it's really good.
Yeah, and just to add one more point, it's great to hear other people kind of synthesize what you know, but you haven't articulated yet. And I think Josh Stark does a great job here. He says Ethereum offers us hardness. We can give Ethereum code and receive a very strong guarantee that it'll run anytime we call on it. I think that's just important, and it'll take many years for people to understand that. But to have a computer that no one else can turn off, that if you do stuff the right way, you have a very, very strong guarantee that whatever information you have on it will be there. I think it's really hard for most people to comprehend how powerful that is.
Yeah.
ETH is money.
And to sum this up, it's simple as this. If you put 1%, 2%, 5% of your portfolio into crypto, you don't have that much downside risk. But the upside risk is that it could make your next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. It could make all of your returns. And it could cause you to outperform people that aren't holding crypto, even a small investment of a few percent. And that's what it really comes down to. Are you willing to risk? Are you willing to risk a few percent of your portfolio to potentially outperform the entire market and everyone who doesn't have crypto? And we think that's a risk that's worth taking and actually is necessary to take.
Yep, it's an asymmetric risk, and that's exactly what we search for our portfolio and for our clients and our LPs.
Awesome write-up. Definitely go check out this article. Check out the Advantage Blockchain Substack. You're going to find some of our best research and written content over there. So are we talking about anything else, or is that the last one to close it up?
That was the last one we had scheduled. I mean, how are we feeling?
I think we should just check the Miggles chart one more time.
I think this is our best
check on the Miggles chart.
Yeah.
All right. I think
where we at?
Yeah, let me.
Any predictions? Bets are off.
8-9.
8-8.
Right again.
God. It's so crazy that I was charting it out down here and I was like, oh, it broke out a little bit. Ooh.
That's what happens. I mean, we knew that was going to happen. It broke out of a channel that's been almost a year now. So yeah. Maybe not quite a year, but long time in this channel.
Government Doge is having a small pullback down to 33 cents. It's only up 500% on the week now. Well, waiting to enter into that one. Everything is sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say AB is definitely we're horizontal line guys on charts, just to throw that to the universe. We don't like any of that kind of fugazi nonsense. Strictly horizontal lines. Keep it simple.
Yes, we're definitely horizontal line guys. The moment you start getting diagonal, it's like get a grip, man. So all right. I think that's all I got for the day. Maybe we're going to go touch some grass or something, as they say.
Quit staring at charts. Just let it ride. Get outside. Do something. Go read some research. And check
Maybe
out some
talk to a girl.
Check out some of our other videos, podcasts, and shorts that we have out. You'll find a lot of great info in there.
All right. User extractable value.
Power to the users, man. For you guys. Hey, maybe we don't end it great, but we
want to do this season. Let's make some money. Not financial advice.